All right, the question is, don't all weld schools give certifications? Because at KWI, we brag that up pretty hard, that we give you guys welding certifications.
And the answer is no, Bobby, that all schools don't. All schools may be good, but there's a different standard to be the accredited test facility with the American Welding Society.
Right, so most places, in order to save money or save time or just to save the headache of being an accredited testing facility, are probably just printing off a piece of paper, an AWS file, off the internet, a PQR, WPS, and a WQTR, and they're just putting their stamp on it, their CWI stamp. Any CWI will get a stamp mailed to them, right? So if you pass the CWI exam, you're getting a stamp. So you can put that stamp on there and make that student feel good, but it's not a certification, not yet.
Right, because you have to be the ATF with AWS. It's an excruciating process. You're audited every 3 years to make sure you're held to those higher standards that not only students recognize, but companies across America recognize that those standards are held to the highest quality.
Yeah, and you said audited every 3 years. That's an in-person audit. We actually get audited every year. But AWS down there in Miami will fly up an auditor, and this is a year for us, we'll be audited. So there'll be a guy that comes and lives with us for 2 or 3 days, goes through all our records, checks our stuff. He checks the oven temperature, 250 degrees, your high-low rods. So everything is pretty stringent. Our booth sizes have to be a certain size. So all of that deals with being an accredited testing facility, which is the only way you can be a certified welder with the American Welding Society. So there's a lot of imposters out there and a lot of people throwing the word certified out there, but actually what you are is qualified.
Correct.
Companies qualify you. When you get to a job, you'll take a weld test to be qualified to work for that company or contractor on that process, on that job. But that's not a certification. And there's nothing wrong with being qualified. You can be qualified. Our guys, if they're certified, are probably gonna have to still take a weld test. But how much more confident do you feel, how much more ready do you feel knowing that you are a certified welder, that you took your test in an accredited testing facility under the American Welding Society by certified welding inspectors? To me, that's paramount, that's big.
Right, and when the people in HR are sorting through the dozens and dozens of resumes, hey, if they're looking for someone who can weld out a combo monster, and I've got an AWS certification listed as a combo monster pipe welder, and guess who's getting the phone call?
Right.
That person is going to get that phone call versus a person who has a qualification.
Because you've been weighed, you've been measured, you are verified. Now, I would also caution some of you guys going to different schools to not put certified on your resume, because if you don't have an AWS certification number, then you're going to look like a liar. So your school's setting you up for failure. So keep calling yourself certified. It might get you burnt down the road. And a lot of guys are going to say, hey, every other weld test, you have to pass those, or every other job, you have to pass those tests. That's not true. We have a lot of guys. It's not upper percentages. It's not 90% of our guys, but I would say somewhere to the tune of 10, 15% can literally walk on jobs with those AWS certifications. So they've taken that test in-house with us, and they're walking on the job ready to weld.
Right, because you've already proven that you can do it. Saw a job post this morning. The company required AWS certifications in hand.
Yeah. And that also means, so what else? So KWI being an accredited testing facility means that companies and contractors actually come and have their guys tested with us. They trust our facility, they trust the AWS name. Our CWIs will give road welders tests for outages up and down the Ohio River Valley. So big companies, we've tested,
dozens of companies that they'll come here. We're centrally located, so it works good for those guys. And on top of that, now you got the project managers who are coming in to make sure we're doing things according to par for their particular company, WPS. But while they're here, guess what? They're putting their eyeballs on you, the student, to see what you're doing in your booth. And at the end of the day, sometimes they want to get your phone number to come to work for them when you graduate.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we started doing it. We did it for next to nothing, and I think now we're charging about half what we do, what the standard is for these companies, because while they're there testing their guys, if, let's say I made up a job, I need 50 guys, and only 30 of them pass, then we can always recommend 20 KWI students that can fill those slots up pretty quick. And our tests are actually harder than a lot of these company contractor tests. Some of the companies, you're just testing on 160 maybe, or you're testing on Schedule 80. We're testing on those monster coupons. Some contractors give you the 3 hours, 4 hours to take that weld test. At KWI, how much time you give them?
2 hours. So we don't want you to be as good as everybody else for your certification. We want you to be better than everybody else for your certification.
Yeah, and that's one of the hardest tests we found was a company demanding that you take that monster coupon test in 2 hours or less. So that's the standard we went with. So now how much better do you feel when you roll out there to Louisiana or Texas and they give you 3? Because now you've got 50% more time to take the test that you know you can do in that 2 hour time limit.